online broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans, producing after-shows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Yo, what up, AfterBuzz? It's your boy DJ Jesse Janedy here in studio for, what are we calling it today? MCXs. That's what everyone here at the AfterBuzz studio is calling it, MCXs.
Sounds like a cool band.
It's bot X's, but I get it. MTV challenge. That was clever, Steven. I'm joined in studio by Miss Roxy Striar.
Hello, everyone. Happy to be here.
The title of the episode is That's the Way Love Goes, so of course we have to play Janet Jackson's That's the Way Love Goes.
Of course.
Until no one here at the studio even knew what this song was.
Why would you put me on blast like that? Why?
Because this is a serious thing. I'm like, this song? Like, this song.
Jesse,
and I thought she was just crazy, but no. Our engineer didn't even know what this song was.
All right.
Nope.
First of all, you know how hard I try to be cool.
It's Janet Jackson.
So I try really hard. Whatever. Pass the nip slip.
NSYNC covered it.
I'm sorry. What do you want me to say? I'm sorry.
All right, fine.
You forgive me?
I do.
Okay.
Let's talk about the episode.
All right. Yeah. You know, I thought that this episode was jam-packed. Like, because we didn't know we were getting a revival.
Yeah, well, reprise.
There we go. I thought it was jam-packed. It was cool because last week I was so bummed that we didn't get to see the end, but it made this week's episode such fire.
We got 2 challenges. So Johnny and Avery ended up winning.
Well, part of it.
At the beginning.
Sure.
By Adam and Britt. They were sad. They cried. That was sad.
Yeah, no, it was really sad. Obviously, we love Brittany here at the studio. Adam redeemed himself a little bit the other week. And I was upset because they won 3 different eliminations.
They did good for rookies.
They did really good for rookies, and we're proud of them. But I felt like Johnny and Avery played a steadier challenge. You know, that they kind of went turtle speed, but really, really steady. So I thought they deserved to win that one.
We find out that Jordan has a mood, and Sarah doesn't like this mood.
We didn't find that out. We've known that about Jordan.
We didn't know that he had a mood with Sarah. I thought they were getting along great at first.
Yeah, that's true. I just think that she deals with him better than most people deal with him typically. It's just strange to me because the way they referenced this was that last week they had a really big fight. I know he was kind of being rude to her when she was puking, and it would have really annoyed me. But there wasn't like this big blow-up argument. She's very good at dealing with it. If I was puking and somebody was yelling at me to move, I would be like, shut the fuck up.
I'm puking.
Like, do you see the vomit coming out of my mouth? But she was really chill, so I didn't even really know there was a problem.
Yeah, the biggest problem for me is, so we get Sarah bitching to Naya about Jordan, and then we get Jordan bitching to Johnny and Zach. Now, the issue doesn't even stem from Johnny and Sarah. It stems from Zach.
Jordan and Sarah, yeah.
Jordan and Sarah. It stems from Zach, where Zach says, God took a rib from Adam.
I can't with this.
They are created to bear children. They are an inferior species. These aren't our wives. They are swamp donkeys.
Jesse,
I'm just like...
I'm scared.
Dude, I'll go on record saying that. Well, you did.
You just did. This is television. I am scared to start talking about this because
like, what girl could ever really be with him after? Like, what?
After seeing that, what respectable woman could ever be with a man after seeing that?
She wouldn't have respect for herself. Whoever he dated.
If I actually was there and heard him say that, I think, and I know this is kind of irrational, I think I would go to the producers and say, if he's staying in the house, I can't be here. Like, the fact that there are people out there that think like that women were built to be inferior, it baffles me. Like, He's like, all they're here for is to bear your children. First of all, even if that was true, which is not why all women are there for, but all right, so do you want some fucking damn kids? Because I don't think you're ever going to have any after this. Like, I just, everything he does and says, I want to take him, I want to punch him in the face, I want to knock all of his teeth out and shave his head and make him hideous so he has nothing left except for his hideous face to match his hideous personality. I can't hold it in anymore. I try to be the one who's nice about him on the show sometimes because I know everybody out home hates him and everybody here hates him. What a piece of shit.
He's like legit, like, the perfect poster guy for, like, you know how people always say, like, pretty people get away with things?
Yes.
Like, you can't look at this guy, like, he is attractive, but he is not that attractive for this to make it.
No one is that attractive.
Not to run him through, well.
All right, here's the thing. Here's the thing, though. Were you upset at all with the company that he kept in this? Because nobody looked at him and said...
No, Johnny was, like, answering his...
Yeah, and same with Jordan. He, like, stumbled for a word, and they were, like, inferior.
Yeah.
If somebody actually tried to have a conversation like this with me, I would look at them and say, shut up. Like, for your own good, shut up.
I'll be like, you guys are going to be single for the rest of your lives.
It's like, have you ever seen, so I'm a big reality show person.
But wait, hold on. My thing is this. Doesn't Zach bounce from girls' apartments?
Yes.
So, like, you rely on women to live in their houses?
He would say that he's blessing their presence. Like, just him being there is blessing them with his presence. But here's what I'm saying. On other reality shows, like i.e. Big Brother, where you go away, you don't have contact with the outside world. I remember last season on Big Brother, some people said some really, really either somebody said a racist thing, a homophobic thing. They all came back and lost their jobs because what you do on these reality shows affects your real life because it's who you are. It's not a character. This is you. Mm-hmm. If I was an employee or an employer, I would never hire him.
Or, I mean, at like McDonald's or something, but like you can't manage no people. You can't be in charge of any type of woman.
Of course not. Or even any man. You're so disrespectful to everybody.
Swamp donkeys.
Swamp
like,
donkeys,
what are you?
Remember when he called into our show and said that I was a lady douche? Like, well, guess what? You're a piece of shit. Like an actual piece of poop. And I would rather light you on fire and leave you on somebody's fucking doorstep, probably yours, so I can step on it. Like, oh, everything he says. That's how I feel.
Do we have Steamer on the line?
Yeah, what's up, guys?
Hey, Steamer. All right, Steamer, we missed you.
Steamer, help.
Before we get into the challenge part, what did you think of this Zach section?
I just want to hear Roxy talk some more about it. I haven't really understood how she feels about Zach yet.
Have I not made it clear? No, it's a little light, you're right. I don't feel like I'm being colorful enough about it.
Just come out and say it. What do you think of Zach?
Pretty good guy. Pretty decent.
He'll stand up.
Would like him to be my husband. Definitely like boyfriend material for sure.
Definitely. He's such a nice guy. Like last week, everybody was like badmouthing him because like his interview segments, which to me, like all the interview segments, like come off as him like trying to be like a funny guy, like trying to be a comedian. But tonight, like just seeing him, like there's no doubt about what you're saying. He's just an asshole.
Yeah.
That's all he is. All he's pretty much ever been. Like sometimes he tries to hide it, but he's just an asshole, and he's finally being exposed for it.
It's funny you say that because you never, even though we say like, oh, he's an asshole and all that stuff, he always says whatever he says it in a joking manner,
with a smile.
And so it kind of takes the pressure off of the comment. Until tonight, where it was a serious conversation, the camera up in the corner of the room, and here we are over here. It's like the damn Sony email leaks.
Yeah, literally. And the footage was weird and raw, and it was like, am I actually hearing this? Like, I feel like he forgot for a second he was in a house that was going on TV, but then he says, I'll say this.
Yeah, no, honestly, part of me just thinks he really doesn't care.
He really clearly doesn't.
Well, let's move on from that to the challenge. It was called Are You the One? And it was a trivia challenge.
Ha 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 ha. Are you the one? Ha 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 ha.
I thought they were going to really go in on them, and it was going to be Are You the One questions.
Ooh, interesting.
Which they all would have fell in the water.
Yeah, straight up. Do you think that there's any couple there that has potential for being a couple in the future? At all? Steamer, that's to you too.
I don't know. They're all... Maybe Jordan and Sarah, but, even that.
No.
Unlikely at this point.
Yeah, I don't think so. So we get to this challenge. Jordan's arguing with Sarah before the challenge starts because she's getting excited. And he feels you shouldn't exude excitement before a challenge.
All right, he's coming off of this conversation with the asshole who's like, women are nothing, you should learn to control her so she can listen because you're the better athlete, and that's why men are better, because they're superior, because we're better athletes. And so Jordan's like all up on his high horse here, and I actually really like Jordan. I stand up for Jordan a lot. But the girl, Sarah, is stoked. She's not sitting here nervous. She's not sitting here complaining. She's excited for what she loves to do. Leave her alone. He's like, that's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying. Shut up. Like, she's great at the show. First of all, I'd argue she's more athletic than you. Not that you're not athletic, but she's very athletic. She's very smart. She's great at quizzes. She's stoked to do this. Let her be excited. What's wrong with being excited? Nothing.
He's just mad. Naya's crying.
In his defense, I think he just doesn't want, like, her to get overconfident or to be seen as, like, a more of a competitor than she is. So, look, if they lose, he doesn't want to be sent in. So he's just trying to dial it down a notch, which... In context of his conversation with Zach, it does look hella suspect, but I don't think he had that sort of intent with it.
I think that's fair, but I also think that you have to know your partner. And looking at what has she been on, 7 challenges? She gets really excited for trivia. She gets excited for puzzles. And never is she, like, so excited that she blanks on something. You know, that's not, like, one of her weaknesses.
Right.
So I just feel like she's somebody who's pretty happy-go-lucky and good at this stuff, so...
He overreacted.
Sure.
Naya's crying, and she feels like she's going to fall in, which, out of everybody, she did look like she was coming out of the bottom of that.
Well, that was weird because they've done so many height things so far. We had to cross this, do that. For her to be wrapped in this blanket and that to be when she was so scared, I felt kind of bad for her.
But I think it was more because... the only thing holding them up, they're not in harnesses. Usually they're in harnesses and the harness lets go. They were wrapped in this, like... pleather thing in this, like, what they lift, like, dolphins and seals up out of. And
did they announce that, or are you just making that up?
Did I make what up? That's what they use. You've
like
never seen them pull a dolphin out the water?
No, I guess not.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if that's the exact thing, but it looks exactly like that. But that long tarp thing, I wouldn't feel comfortable in that. And if you went back and look, because I thought she was over dramatic, but her ass was off of the thing.
Yeah.
Out of everybody else, everyone was kind of cradled in there. She wasn't.
Yeah.
So I mean, whatever. I could see that being kind of nervous. So they have to do questions and trivia. I tried to write down as many as I could, which wasn't a lot. Jenna had to spell adultery. She forgot the E. Got that wrong. Congratulations that she got the UN though. I was a little nervous for Jenna.
The periodic table thing really threw her off. She was almost not there, but then she got it.
Janedy got the largest muscle on the body wrong, which was a butt, and Zach said she doesn't know because she doesn't have one.
Of course he said that. Of course he said that. And just to further put people on blast right now, because we already have the Zach issue, that I'm having an issue with Jordan. And then my boy Leroy, who I love so much, makes that freaking comment saying that he says, that's what men do in relationships with women. We lie.
I mean, but it's
like,
true.
Oh my God. Like, men, you're looking so bad tonight.
This was like a man-bashing episode.
Just horrible.
All right, so Johnny and Avery dropped first. Steamer, what did you think of this challenge as far as, like, them dropping into the water and that long tarp thing? I don't know, that just was not... It was just doing the most.
Yeah, I didn't think the drops, like, I always underestimate how bad they can be, but then you see Avery just going face first, and that just looked vicious, and... Like, I got to hand it to her. She didn't seem like she was crying or anything, which I figured she would, because she hit pretty damn hard.
What I always think about for these is, like, if I go to the gym, which is very rare these days, but if I do, I need, like...
Did you used to be a big gym head?
Yeah, well, at least, I used to work out a lot. But now if I go to the gym, I need, like, a week and a half to recover. Like, if I do anything too hard, I need a long time to recover. These people, I have to remind myself...
I'm going to get you some Herbalife rebuild.
Okay. I have to remind myself, these people, they're hitting the water, and they're probably sore as shit. And then the next day, she has to go into the dome.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there is no recovery time. She's already exhausted. Like, I'm like, I can't walk upstairs the next day.
Oh, well then, bitch, I'm going to get you some Herbalife Rebuild. You'll be good after a couple hours.
For Avery, she was just in the dome. She just completed that challenge, the fierce challenge last week, which is only probably a few days before this. So she's been like nonstop.
Right.
Yeah.
That should add to your wear.
Absolutely. She's getting no break. And then the way she hit the water was like the ultimate bitch.
The ultimate
Slap.
bitch. Land of the Rising Sun
Yeah.
is not Africa.
You know, what's so funny about this is when we actually went to go interview all of them, I remember Naya making fun of Leroy, something being like, next time you should know your countries from your continents.
Oh.
And I was like, huh? And she was like, just wait. And now I know.
Look at you, little Miss Roxy.
I'm a journalist. I investigate.
So Zach and Janedy follow up because Janedy didn't know how many cups were in a gallon.
In all fairness, I thought it was 12. So if Zach's going to call Johnny an idiot, I'm with her.
Wes and Teresa fell down because of the word eroticism.
I feel like the way TJ was saying that word was strange.
I just felt like TJ's commentary after everything was weird.
He's a personality on the show these days. I mean, not even
Yeah, but it
these
wasn't
days.
a cool personality. Like, it was just a weird. It was almost like he was mad that MTV used these. I felt like he was irritated at how easy the questions were.
I was surprised they aired
Because they
a lot
were
of his
kind
comments.
of the questions were kind of easy.
Jesse, they are always so controversial.
Yeah,
All the questions, because there will be easy, out of left field hard.
Yeah.
Easy. And it's like what Jordan was mad at the end. I get why he was mad. For him, who won the Super Bowl? What's the bone in your foot? Whatever it is, those are easy questions for him. But that's the whole point of this. It like trips you up.
Jay wants to make, because it's Jay and Jenna versus Jordan and Sarah up at the end. Last question. And Jay wants to make a deal with Jordan. Jordan says, nope, I will not. Riley's my friend. I like you too, but that's my friend. Steamer, what did you think of that?
I love his loyalty. I mean, a lot of people would have sold their friend down the river and said, it's all about me. But Jordan stuck up for his friend and wanted to do what he thought would be best for him. So I give him a lot of credit for it.
Yeah, I agree with that. Here's what I'll also say. Sarah, in her direct-to-camera, said, what an idiot. I absolutely would have made the deal. But I didn't hear her when they were up there say, Jordan, you idiot, let's make a deal. And she could have said that. Mm-hmm. I mean, obviously, hindsight is 20/20, and it's easy after they lose to say she should have made a deal. So I do agree with you, Steamer, and I think it's admirable that he stood up for his friend. But at the same time, the way that he said it was so arrogant and so confident that he was going to win that I think that he shot himself in the foot. I mean, apparently not, because they didn't vote him in, but for any other team would have.
But would you expect any less from Jordan though than to sound overly confident? I mean, he's the same guy who last season just flipped all his cars to go right in at bananas.
Right, of course.
He's always been like all in, and I love him for it. I can't fault him for it.
And everybody down on the ground was saying that. Like, he's not going to make a deal because Jordan's up there. There's no way. And they were right.
And I do get it, Steamer, I get it. But so Sarah and Jordan get eliminated, Jay and Jenna win.
This is my favorite quote. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, and sometimes people like Jay and Jenna beat you. Which is just like
real talk.
A whole different category.
And Sarah was so positive talking to Jordan afterwards. Jordan just keeps bitching about how Jay got the easier questions and all this stuff. And Sarah goes to talk to Jordan. She says, I need to talk to you. He says, I really need to fold these clothes right now. You don't.
You can't talk to me. I really need to fold these clothes.
She's trying to talk to him about his attitude, and Jordan does not get this. And this is what's irritating for me, is because this is your partner. Just like you want your partner to work with you during the challenges, even though you guys aren't in a challenge at that moment, it's still the challenge. And your teammate is telling you, look, people can tell how you're feeling by your actions.
And
she's not just making this up.
What does he do? He proves her right and says, whatever, and walks away.
This isn't my first go-around.
Yeah.
Okay, well, she's been here 8 times.
Yeah, but I have a feeling, because he said, we already talked about this, I'm going to close my mouth, and we didn't hear that conversation. I have a feeling this was her 14th time saying something to him.
I have a conspiracy theory that Jordan and Sarah are doing this on purpose.
Doing what on purpose?
Causing arguments in front of people and making it seem like they have a weak bond. So
Why would they want to look weaker?
So they don't come off as threatening. Because if they're working together all the time, it's kind of like, because throughout the challenge we've seen people say that if a team isn't getting along, they're going to screw up in the competition. So, I mean, probably not, but because they
totally
seemed really cool in our interviews and seemed like they pretty much knew what they were doing.
Yeah, I could totally feel that, and they definitely were cool in the interviews, which makes me think that things reconcile. But the problem with that would be, I feel like they would let the audience, in on the secret in their director cameras. I feel like they would be.
I would normally, except for the fact that we didn't find out about all these alliances till how many episodes in.
That's true. Maybe they are telling us, and they're just not airing it. We don't know. We have a big conspiracy.
So they get to the power couple dinner, and Jay and Jenna sit down with Jordan and Sarah. Steamer, what did you think about? Did you see it going this way, as far as Jay saying, "No, we want to deal with you guys"?
No, I did not. I thought it was a foregone conclusion that you're sending Jordan and Sarah in against Johnny and Avery, cut that alliance up. I mean, that's what Leroy said after the competition. He assumed that's the way it's going to go down, and obviously you shouldn't expect something like that when they tell you how it's going to happen. Most likely it's going to be different. Right. But I figured that's the way it's going to go down, since it was the logical move.
And so how do you feel about Jay wanting to send in Leroy?
I mean,
do you kind of see why Jay was so scared and that's why he put Leroy in? I can kind of see Jay being like a pussy and like, oh well.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
He did.
Go ahead, Steamer.
It's just like he doesn't come across like he has any backbone whatsoever. Like he's just there, like typical rookie. He's happy to be there. He's like, oh shucks, guys, I just want to make it to the final, and he's just not thinking ahead. Like, you have to throw Jordan against Johnny. That way you get rid of at least one of them, no matter what. Like, if you don't win the next challenge, most likely you're going to go in. So, like, just go all in, throw Jordan in, and let it be. Like, Leroy perfectly called him out, and, like, he just showed Jay had like, no retort. Just showed Jay what he was. Like, he's just a scared little kid dealing with men.
Yep. What are you thinking?
First of all, I completely agree, Steamer. But when you look at this logically, I have to think to myself, Jay and Jenna, are you guys kidding me? And I'm not saying this because Leroy won. I'm not saying this because you heard me say the entire episode. I don't think you could have made a dumber move on all accounts.
Yeah.
There is an alliance. You're aware of the alliance. You are not in the alliance. It is obviously Johnny, Jordan, and Zach. Kind of Zach, whatever. They are all together. So right now, not only do you have the opportunity to split up the alliance, but you have the perfect excuse. You have an excuse. They said they were going to throw you in, pretty much. You can say, listen, I respect you guys for saying that you weren't necessarily going to throw us in, but unfortunately, I don't quite believe you.
Right.
I don't quite believe you, and because of that reason, I am throwing you in. And that reason alone. Sarah and Jordan would have said, okay, it's totally valid. It's totally valid. They had an out, and they didn't take it because they were afraid of Jordan and Sarah and not afraid of Leroy and Naya.
Who have been your friends this time?
Who are your friends and aren't in that alliance and will have your back. They will have your back, and you've already seen them win in an elimination. You know they're a strong team. They're going to be your allies, and now you have just made a huge target.
Because now you're hanging with the hyenas.
Yeah, what are you, crazy? And I will say this too. I loved watching Leroy fight for himself because I feel like every season, every year we come in, I'm like, I don't understand why Leroy isn't winning these. He's a beast. Why isn't he winning? And finally this year, I think something clicked and he was like, fuck this.
Yep, the fire in Leroy is really there. Loving it. We get to deliberation. We get Johnny and Avery and, of course, Leroy and Naya. So we go to the dome. And... well, actually, before we do that, I love that Leroy called Jay out, and I love that Jay lied, because it just shows your character. You're scared. You know you did something wrong. He said, no, it was just best for our team, and that's all it was. That's not explaining why you did that. Clearly, it's best for your team. If you're putting me in here and you think that, why is it best for your team? That's the question.
At what point has somebody thrown somebody in the dome and they didn't think it was best for their team? Right. I honestly was like, Jay and Jenna, maybe at this point, I just think you guys should send yourself into the dome. Like, I just, come on.
Yeah, that would have been hilarious. TJ probably would have just been like, no, you're going home.
I thought they were one of the worst power couples of all time.
Yeah.
Just, they had no...
Jenna was like, I don't care.
They were not in power at any point. They were the power couple, but they were not in power.
Everyone played them.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So we get to the dome. I didn't catch what the title of this challenge was, but I thought it was really cool. So basically, it's like sumo, like wrestling with the person, but you have to pull these hooks down and latch it onto the person you're against.
It was really cool. I have to say, I know that none of these challenges are perfect, but I do feel like a lot of these challenges cater to tall people, and I think this was one of them. It reminded me of that other challenge. It was almost like dodgeball, where you had to reach up and push those balls if you were tall. Right. And I don't think people at home, maybe you guys do, but I definitely didn't realize how tall Naya is. Oh, yeah. Naya is wicked tall, like giant tall.
Might be taller than Leroy.
Yeah, so tall.
I'm gonna actually post that picture, y'all, because I was just looking like I was at their waist. Like,
right, she's so tall, and I just feel like it was easier for them to pull down thing because they're closer to him. It's easier for them to grab it, and that's the way the challenge works. Sometimes people have advantages, but I'm not surprised they won.
Steamer, what did you think of this challenge?
Well, I think Naya played volleyball in college, so like she's obviously like a tall athlete, and the fact that it took Avery, it took her 90 minutes to beat Avery says a lot about Avery. She's stuck in there, considering that she had like very little chance of actually winning. So I gotta give her credit again.
Yeah,
the challenge itself. I liked it. I would sooner have a more straight up physical challenge. But the odd dimension of trying to hook them was pretty cool. It didn't play off as great on TV, but I thought it was a good challenge.
Right.
For the guys, it really didn't play off. The girls, I was kind of into it, like the time lapse and all that. Leroy thought he was damn Coach Carter over on the side, like, get in there!
He was the best part of the TV show at that point, as he's screaming at her.
I really felt like I was watching Coach Carter, because it was like that moment where it was like, come on, champ. The end of the episode, you know what I mean? I was out my chair wanting Leroy to win. I love Johnny and Avery, but, Leroy the homie.
Yeah, but Naya was like, oh, he annoyed me at some points, but I would have needed that. Mm-hmm. He talked to her the entire time. That's what a teammate does. That's how you show your support. And Johnny was a little more relaxed with it. And I feel like if he had gotten Avery's face a little bit and was like, get angry, this is the time, whatever, maybe he could have pulled it off.
I didn't expect Avery to do it this well at all. Like, honestly, I thought Naya was going to get this in the bag. I was a little nervous that Johnny might have clipped Leroy at first, actually, because of the height difference. And at first we seen how Johnny was low, so I thought he was going to get that one on the side.
Right.
But, I agree. Shout out to Leroy and Naya.
I just can't imagine doing this for over 90 minutes. No. That's insane.
Well, apparently the way that they're talking is like they kind of were just standing there holding. So I kind of think Naya and Avery, because they're cool with each other, there were moments where they kind of were just standing there like, let's catch a breath and then we'll get back at it.
I have a dumb question, but
no question is dumb, Roxy.
Oh, thank you so much. Do you ever think that sometimes the girls or anybody on the show would think, because I know that sometimes they change the challenges on the spot because they're not working out. Mm-hmm. They'll change the amount of blocks or in something or whatever. Do you think maybe they thought if a certain amount of time elapsed, they would call it quits on them and move back to the guys? Mm-mm. You don't think so? That's not why they were starting off?
No, I think they would have been there for hours and hours.
Fair.
Like, clip that shit on.
You know what I forgot? That they were on the same season. I forgot that Naya and Avery got in a fist fight.
When they showed that clip, I was like, oh, yeah, I forgot about that one.
Yeah, and I also forget that some people who watch the challenge don't watch The Real World, and we're probably like, what?
Right, because Naya's really quiet on this show.
Yeah, she was a crazy bitch on that show. And I definitely know a lot of you guys at home think that Naya's awesome, because I get comments every week being like, why are you hating on Naya? And I'm not. I actually really like Naya, but she was crazy.
She was crazy on her season. But I loved it. I'd be watching Bad Girls Club, so that was right up my alley. Shout out to Johnny for the nice words that he had for Avery at the end. Stand-up guy. Except for the one-on-one where he was like, this is exactly where I want my relationship with Avery to be. Non-existent.
I think that's fair. I think she cheated on him. That's what I think happened, so I get it. But I think he was really nice to her. He could have been like, you just lost that, but he was like, I was the one who set the precedent. This is on me.
She was in there for 90 minutes, like that on top of everything. Like that really did show, just like you said, Steamer, like that really shows her character. I'm actually, because of tonight, I'm excited to see Avery on another challenge.
Yeah, me too. I agree.
See how she does. I'd like to see her by herself.
Ooh.
On that note, we ain't going into predictions yet. We're going to go to Stump the Steamer.
I'm so excited.
I've been saving this one for you, Steam. Shout out to Andrew Kirk, CSUA Kirk on Twitter. His question is, on the first Battle of the Exes, how many elimination rounds did Ty and Emily go into?
Thank you.
I'll repeat the question. On the first Battle of the Exes, how many elimination rounds did Ty and Emily go into? I feel like I sound like the guy.
4.
Is that your final answer?
Yeah, I'm going.
Steamer, you've been stumped. Yep, the answer is 3. They were thrown in twice by the power couple and got last place in a challenge.
I feel like you were gonna say 3, but then you were peer pressured into 4 by your other self.
Yeah. Well, you're gonna have to redeem yourself this season. Also, shout out to Johan Pina. I hope I said that correctly. Just for being a big ass fan, you be tweeting our shit out before, after, during, tomorrow, the day before.
I feel like it's Pena, but I'm not sure.
Pena, Wheel 5 Stud, something like that. Thank you. We love you. Let's go into predictions.
And now,
I'm excited for next week.
If we hadn't seen Jay in person, I would have thought that Leroy killed him next week. That would have been my prediction, like actually smushed him.
Well, Leroy's not a violent person.
As you and Nicolette do together.
No, Leroy has his common sense. But I am excited to see him scare Jay, because I know he will scare Jay. Jay's going to be sitting there like diarrheaing out his ass. Like,
this is what I would love to see, like some sort of pranks war, like them just fuck with him. Or something, like put cockroaches in his bed or something. I don't mean to be mean, because I think Jay and Jen are fine as people. I just don't think that they're great competitors.
Sorry. I'm more excited for the truck competition.
Yeah,
I want to see these bitches jump from truck to truck.
How do you make sure somebody's safe during that?
Well, I don't know. I just remember years ago I watched it on Fear Factor.
Yeah, I remember that,
It was
Jesse.
like the first season of Fear Factor, and they did that, and I was like obsessed with it. And then they did it, I want to say they did it on Road Rules.
Truck jumping. You want to go truck jump next weekend?
Okay, well, unless Bunham and Murray is producing it. And,
except the first clause of their contract, if you die, it's not on us.
All right, well, so no truck jumping for me. And then we're going to get Zach versus John A. Looks like he's going to get mad at her.
Oh, I'm shocked. He's such a good dude, and he's never mad at John A.
Steamer, who do you think's going to win?
The entire thing?
Yep.
Well, going into the season, I had Bananas and Nani, which is still possible.
Yep.
But I think if they come back, it's either them or Jordan and Sarah. Those are my top 2 teams going in, and I'm sticking with that.
What do you think about Wes and Teresa?
I had them as my 3rd favorite going in, just based on the fact I hate them both. Like, I want them both gone. I dislike Wes. I really dislike Teresa. But they're decent competitors, so they're right below my top 2.
They work really well with each other. Who are you thinking?
Yeah, because they're both assholes.
I think Wes and Teresa.
Really?
And Jordan and Sarah are going to do pretty well, too. But I'm hoping Leroy rocks it.
Yeah, exactly. I'm always rooting for Leroy.
Yeah, I'm wishing on a star for Leroy. But I'm going to go with Sarah and Jordan for the win. And then if Bananas and Nani come back... No, I don't think Bananas and Nani are going to win at all. Actually, I would say Wes and Teresa or Sarah and Jordan. But I think Sarah and Jordan are going to win.
Because Jordan has that mustache.
Well, maybe that, but also just there's going to be a quiz involved. There's going to be a trivia something. There's going to be puzzles. Sarah's good at that. They have long stamina.
Yeah, but look what happened last week when Teresa and Wes won that puzzle thing.
Oh, yeah, that was a puzzle one.
Yeah, I don't know. I think they're pretty evenly matched at this point.
I'm excited. Well, y'all, we want to thank y'all for tuning in. Make sure you guys hit us up at AFTERBUZZ TV on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Also, tweet us. Let us know who you think's going to win win. You guys can tweet me at DJ Jesse J.
You can find me everywhere at Roxy Striar.
Steamer.
At the steamer.
Until next week, same time, same place. Peace.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.